So we're at Centre 3 in Hamilton, Ontario for the Function Key conference, which I was really excited to see that there was a BioArt workshop with Dr. Jennifer Willet. And how often do you get to enroll in a BioArt workshop? I suspect you will a lot more in the future than you do now. But I'm here with Dr. Jennifer Willet. Hello.
Hi.
And just have a few questions. Now, there's a lot of information in this field. There's a lot of really fascinating projects we could spend hours talking about. And I saw the lecture and I went through the workshop today, and here's some Petri dishes.
We should open them up.
We should open them up. And this is relatively safe.
It's totally safe.
You could hurt yourself in the plastic maybe.
Yes.
But there's a agar solution with different sort of substances we found, and we stamped them into the Petri dish. In my case, I took a dirty cigarette and a clean cigarette, and then my finger as well. And we're just going to see what happens with this over the next couple of weeks, and I'll be posting that and letting everyone know what I'm doing. So I have a few questions just about BioArt in general. Is how old of a recognized field is this?
Edward Steenchen exhibited delphiniums in the front lobby of MoMA as part of a major exhibition in 1939, I think it was.
1939, okay.
And so a lot of people would argue that would be the first public exhibition of BioArt. He didn't really know it was BioArt, but he was breeding delphiniums in his garden and decided to put those in the museum. I would say that BioArt really came to prominence in the 1980s, maybe like early 1990s. There's a lot of debate over who's the grandfather of BioArt. I'm on Team George Gessert.
Team George Gessert. Go George.
Go George. George is also a plant breeder who was genetically modifying irises towards negative traits, towards traits that iris breeders do not want to have. And he's been writing about BioArt for a number of years. But there's also a lot of people looking at Eduardo Katz's work out of Chicago, or Joe Davis's work out of MIT. And honestly, I don't really care who is first. I think they're all awesome artists.
Well, this seems to happen in science and art history, is people come to the same conclusions, sometimes the same ideas, around the same time, even though they're separated by vast distances.
It's like an emergent property.
Yeah.
You know?
And, there's a cohesiveness, there's a relationship between all kinds of things maybe we're not suspecting of, but that's kind of an element of BioArt as well, is sort of, I guess, teasing or discovering sort of diverse ecologies. And in your case, you have a lab at the University of Windsor that's a cross-section of art, science, and ecology.
Yeah, so I have a lab called Incubator. We started in 2009. It's out of a visual arts department at the University of Windsor, which is really rare. A lot of BioArt labs are affiliated with scientific departments. And in that space, we prioritize the production of art, but it's art that uses biology or living media as its material. And that can range everything from maybe food art or body art, but also to art that directly uses biotechnology, organisms, cell lines, enzymes in the production of the artwork.
Okay, and it's not mimicking or simulating life.
No, it's real life.
Yes.
So you're growing, smelly, meaty artworks.
Right, and I mean, I was really interested to learn that, it really is about, it's about politics, it's about ethics.
Yes.
And it's about, I guess, our approach to ourselves, how we communicate with our community, and what the future is for our
for sure,
our community going forward.
For sure. BioArt, first of all, intrinsically involves bioethics every time you do it. And the reason for that is that when you're manipulating life towards aesthetic ends, regardless of the content of that artwork or how it looks, it becomes a bioethical dilemma. And so that's really essential to all forms of BioArt. I would also argue, though, that particularly BioArt that uses biotechnology is incredibly political, in that biotechnology and the hard sciences in a larger sense are deemed as this very specialized site that are really for really smart people to, engage in different practices and produce real truth-based knowledge. But actually, science is not like that at all. Science is a lot more like cooking. It does involve some really interesting systems and methods of organization of cooking in order to achieve some forms of knowledge. But the idea that artists could also engage in biotechnology towards non-scientific ends is radically political because it really upsets the authority structure that we apply to scientific practices.
So as an artist, my qualities of curiosity and intuitiveness do have a place in this
Absolutely,
realm.
absolutely. And look, I've worked in a lot of real scientific labs, and the scientists are quite often really enamored with the imaginative properties that art can offer their research. Certainly, we're not very good at doing, repetitive, objective, fact-finding information strategies. But what artists are really good at is taking an idea and turning it on its side and thinking about what would happen if you did this or if you did that. And scientists are really open to and excited by some of the alternative strategies for thinking about their research.
I have just one more question.
Sure.
As I was learning about this for the last couple of days, you kept mentioning the enormous paperwork. You're really good at paperwork. And I think that's a boon for any artist, is to be really good at paperwork. And also I was keying in on the fact that you were talking about a lot of this stuff that's very impermanent, a lot of the BioArt. So I'm wondering, I know it's related to the history of printmaking and reproduction. So in a sense, is BioArt a media art? Because it lives in the documentation of the paperwork, it lives in the documentation of the results, but it's not permanent in the sense of...
I think BioArt is a media art, but not because of the value of the documentation or the paperwork that you need to do. I think that we're heading towards biomedia.
Oh.
I think that media is becoming visceral and alive and has a lifespan.
Okay, I'm going to let you at home dwell on that for a while as I shiver with the hairs on my neck. No, that actually, I'm going to have to look more into that.
Thanks.
So, thanks very much, Dr. Willet.
Nice to chat with you.
You too.